In a photo taken on a sunny airport tarmac, Jason and a pilot stand facing us beside a small aerobatic monoplane. The pilot, Liam, stands at our left, wearing a light gray t-shirt, khakis, and a broad smile. Jason stands at our right, 6 inches taller than Liam, dressed in black pants and a dark gray golf shirt. Both men wear parachute harnesses that crisscross their torsos. The plane, which faces our left and has its glass-domed canopy opened, is an extra EA-300L in aluminum gray. The 23-foot-long, single-engine prop plane is marked with the names Aerotech Engines, David Clark, and Upright Aviation Academy in black lettering, and the call sign C-GUAA in large red letters. The nose, tail, and wingtips are adorned with matching red and gray checkerboard patterns. Soon after, Jason sits in the plane's front seat. Christine and Keith stand nearby.
Beauty. So we'll be, once you see us take off, we'll be about 20 to 30 minutes depending on traffic and fuel to when we get back here.
Sorry, what did you just say?
We'll be about 20 to 30 minutes before we're back once you hear us take off here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We'll be another probably 5 to 10 maybe just to get off the ground depending on how busy it is down there. So.
Thank you guys.
All right, so they're just standing over on our left here. I'm gonna close the canopy, Jason, so you don't have to watch your hands or anything. I'll just give you a heads up that it's coming down. If you reach up to your left and down to basically you're right, yeah, a little further back with your left hand, you're gonna feel 2.
Yeah.
One in front of you. Yeah, there you go. There's 2. So put your hand on top of both of those.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna open it by pulling them together.
Okay.
And then close it by pulling them apart.
Okay.
So if you need to open the canopy, pull those together.
Okay.
And then lift the canopy up and over to your right.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Jason moves his hand from the canopy handles to the camera mounted near his left knee.
Oh, is that a camera there? Oh, that's a camera right there.
Yes, right in front of you there, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Batteries on?
Batteries are on. And we're getting ready to go. I'm just going to put my headset on here.
That was a cool sound.
Isn't it? So those are the gyros spinning up in some of the instruments too that you're hearing. Yeah, you're going to have a blast. This is going to be awesome. Like I said, once that sun starts beating down through this canopy, the canopy itself, it's just one big plexiglass. You know, there's no obstructions on it, so it gets quite hot in here. It's like a greenhouse sometimes in the summer.
Yeah.
But you picked a good time of year to come do this because it's perfect temperature for this right now.
Jason adjusts the mic on his headset.
Right, can you hear me?
Not yet. Once the engine started, then the intercom will be live after that.
Actually, I can hear you.
Oh, you can? Oh, okay. Maybe somebody left the avionics thing on here. There they did. All right, so what I'm going to do is prime the engine. In order to do that, I'm going to turn our fuel pump on, and I'm going to open up the mixture control and let some gas into the engine, and then we'll turn it all off, turn the engine over, and it should roar to life.
Right.
The catch is trying to catch it before the gas runs out, because you can't have the gas on, so to speak, when you start it. So it's a little bit of a timing game.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Clear! Just gonna do a control check here. I'll probably end up touching or hitting you a little bit there, but that's okay. Perfect.
The control stick between Jason's knees shifts about. Outside the cockpit, the wing flaps and tail elevators tilt up and down. The 4-blade propeller begins to spin, and a puff of exhaust belches out a pipe mounted on the underside of the nose. The plane remains stationary, with Liam in the rear seat and Jason in the front. In the cockpit, Jason takes a deep breath.
All right, can you hear me okay?
Yep, gotcha.
Jason sits with his hands resting on grip bars mounted on either side of the cockpit. Over his shoulder, the sun hangs in a bright blue sky, gleaming against the domed canopy.
So is it best to have my hands on the bars here, or does it matter?
Yeah, that's probably the best place for us to stuff the Wi-Fi with. See, I think that's a good spot overall. But other than
Is there a volume control in this headset? Or not?
volume, yeah, just at the top here. Yeah, right there. Is it a little loud?
Well, I just want to just check. Yeah, that's good.
All right, fantastic.
So is there a tower here? I assume there is, right?
No, there's not. It's all right.
Oh, it's intercom.
Yeah, that's it.
The plane begins to roll, taxiing past 2 parked excavators and a parked car as it leaves the hangar area.
Yeah, no problem. Quite a vibration, from the,
Yeah. And you'll hear all sorts of frequencies because the airplane is carbon fiber and fiberglass and everything's like composite, so it does freaking stuff on the ground around here.
So all this is being recorded, right? All the comms
Yeah.
are being recorded. I'm
Outside the cockpit, a camera mounted on the wingtip provides footage of the plane in profile. The plane stops behind 2 others waiting to taxi onto the runway.
So we landed up behind somebody else?
Overhead, another plane flies low over the runway. Inside the cockpit, Liam's image is reflected in the plexiglass dome behind Jason. He glances from side to side as they taxi onto the runway.
All right, ready to go?
Yep.
The wingtip camera films them speeding up the runway. The plane judders, as does Jason. A smile slides onto Jason's face. He speaks into his headset mic, his voice masked by the roar of the engine. The plane's tail wheel begins to rise off the runway. The plane slowly lifts off the ground, a series of hangars and parked planes whipping past on the far side of the runway. The plane tips up, and they quickly rise higher, a view of the runway and surrounding farm fields filling the dome behind Jason. As the plane continues to ascend, the wingtip camera captures the tilt of the distant horizon. In the cockpit, Jason chews on his lip, hands still resting on the sidebars. The plane banks to the right, and a patchwork of farm fields appears over Jason's right shoulder. The plane levels out, and Jason adjusts his grip on the sidebars. A dark shadow line moves up Jason's torso as the plane turns away from the sun. Behind Jason, a camera mounted on the headrest captures the pilot's point of view. Jason's long wavy ponytail, headset, and strapped-in shoulders remain level, but the horizon tilts back and forth when they bank to the right and left. Down below, green and brown fields and patches of lush green treetops blanket the distant ground. Soon after, Jason gently grips the control stick between his knees. The plane banks to the right, and distant green fields appear in the tilted landscape over his right shoulder. Jason smiles, and the plane levels out. The moment is replayed on the wingtip camera feed. As the plane banks to the right, the distant horizon rises until the background is filled with farm fields and forests. The plane levels out, then banks to the left. The horizon slips away, and the background is filled with clear blue sky. In the cockpit, Jason grips the sidebars as the nose of the plane rises. Behind him, the horizon line turns vertical, farm fields over his left shoulder, blue sky over his right. Jason smiles and tightens his grip as blue sky sweeps across the canopy overhead. The land below sweeps back into view, filling the canopy behind Jason. Jason speaks into his headset mic as a shadow shifts across his body. A replay from the headrest camera shows the plane rotating to the left until the horizon line is vertical. The plane levels out, then slowly rotates to the right. A replay from the wingtip camera shows the patchwork of farm fields rotating across the background as the plane flies sideways through the air. The plane slowly levels out once again. In the cockpit, Jason grips the sidebars as the plane rolls 360 degrees. He clearly says, "What?" then chuckles to himself as the plane levels out. The wingtip replay shows the nose of the plane pointing up, then rolling to the left. The ground below seemingly rotates around the plane. In the cockpit, Jason continues to grin, blue sky filling the plexiglass canopy overhead. Jason says, "Wow!" as the plane barrel rolls to the left, leaving him chuckling once again. The backrest replay shows the plane aimed at the brilliant sun up ahead. The plane quickly rolls, and the horizon spins 360 degrees, but the sun remains straight ahead. In the cockpit, Jason raises his brow as the plane's nose lifts and the distant ground sweeps up the canopy behind him. "We're upside down?" he asks as the plane slowly flips backwards. The distant ground disappears up above, then reappears down below. Jason smiles and laughs, then shuts his mouth tight before laughing once again. "That was amazing," he says as the plane levels out. The headrest replay shows the ground disappearing as the nose of the plane tilts higher and higher. The horizon appears overhead, then rolls under the plane as the flight levels out once again. In the cockpit, Jason continues to grip the sidebars as the plane does another loop-de-loop. He says, "Wow!" then says, "Fuck!" with a laugh as views of farm fields fill the canopy overhead. The wingtip replay shows the distant horizon on the far side of the plane rotating counterclockwise. The long, smooth backflip lasts a full 18 seconds. In the cockpit, Jason gently touches the control stick with his right hand. He quickly lets go and grabs the sidebar when the plane tips up, nose to the sky. They fly straight up for several seconds, then bank hard to the left, the control stick moving freely between Jason's knees. Jason's body goes slack as the sun gleams against the domed canopy behind him. Grinning, Jason adjusts his headset and exhales. The headrest replay shows the nose of the plane rising and bright blue sky filling the plexiglass canopy. Jason leans back as they fly higher and higher. The plane spins to the left and they dive straight down towards the ground. Jason's posture shifts when the nose begins to rise and the flight levels out once again. In the cockpit, Jason's mouth falls open when they begin a vertical loop. They fly upside down, then rotate to the left. Gripping the sidebars, Jason chuckles to himself and says, "Amazing!" The wingtip replay shows the plane backflipping upside down, then rotating 180 degrees until they're right side up again. In the cockpit, Jason grips the sidebars as the nose of the plane rises and points to the sky. They fly upside down and spin to the left. Jason smiles, but his face goes slack and his shoulders hunch as they right themselves once again. The headrest replay shows the nose of the plane tilting up as they begin their backflip. Once they're upside down and the land appears overhead, they corkscrew to the left, rotating a full 360 degrees. When they're upside down once again, they finish the backflip and return to level flying. In the cockpit, a shadow washes across Jason's body as the nose of the plane rises and they perform a long, slow loop-de-loop. Jason's shoulders hunch and his body floats against the harness as they backflip in the sky. The wingtip replay shows the horizon rotating counterclockwise in the distance. The plane lingering upside down as they complete the vertical loop. In the cockpit, Jason smiles and sighs as he speaks and laughs into his headset mic. The plane banks to the right, the distant ground tilted over his right shoulder. Soon after, footage from the headrest camera shows the back of Jason's head and the level horizon up ahead. They angle slightly to the left as they descend toward the ground below. The treetops and farm fields grow closer as they continue their descent. The runway quickly approaches. The plane zips over the long, paved surface. Jason's body lurches, indicating that the plane has touched down. Hangars and parked planes whip by as the plane begins to slow. They taxi onto the tarmac.
And that's it. We're basically back at the hangar. That's pretty quick, I think.
That's amazing.
Yeah, there's maybe 100 feet. So it's a pretty short taxi. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to turn this guy off. What we're going to do is like temperatures stabilize. Okay. By just sitting here. Nicely done.
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
The plane slowly turns toward the open hangar. Keith, Christine, Sonia, and another person stand waiting. The plane stops and Jason removes his headset.
There you go, buddy.
All right.
The cockpit canopy opens.
Successful mission.
Oh. Hello. Good. I think.
You can definitely feel that you did some aerobatics, though.
Yeah.
You can just lower yourself down.
Jason climbs out. He steps backwards off the wing and onto the ground.
Solid ground.
There you go.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what number are you at? How are you feeling?
Call it a 7.
You never got below a 7.
Well, Jason, it looks like you're doing a lot better than when you finished parachute.
I'm coming in for a hug. How are you doing? Was it great?
It was amazing.
What you guys do?
Yeah.
You're the best.
Audio description written by J.J. Hunt. Voiced by Christine Malec.